During the pandemic, two of our village church members, Matt and Mary, went and served with Samaritans Purse on their disaster assistance response team in northern Italy. If you would have heard on the news, Cremona, Italy was one of the hardest hit towns by the coronavirus, and they chose to go serve on the front lines. They got back in May, and today we're gonna follow up with them to hear about how their experience was. Hey guys, it's so good to see you. I'm really excited to hear about how your time in Italy was. Now, can you just tell me, how did you first hear about Samaritan's Purse?
Yeah, we heard about Samaritan's Purse first through, they had a response a few years ago to Iraq with their disaster assistance response team. But unfortunately, we had a few commitments at the time, so we weren't able to go to Iraq. But shortly after that, we were able to jump on a training week with Samaritan's Purse in their Calgary office. And then we got the call, and in April, we went to Italy to help serve with their COVID response.
So when you're there, what did some of your typical daily activities look like?
Yeah, so Matt and I were both part of the night shift team. So we did nights almost the whole month we were there. So a typical day for us looked kind of opposite to what the normal would, but we would sleep all day, get up around 5 or 6 for dinner. We'd all hop on a bus, get to the field hospital, get changed into our scrubs, put on all our protective gear, and our shift was from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And that was just kind of typical nursing duties, just looking after our patients, giving them their medications, helping them in whatever way they needed throughout the night, and then head home in the morning and do it all again. That was kind of a typical day in the life for us.
Yeah.
So I know seeing patients is part of your typical job in the hospitals locally, but when you were going into a situation where it is very much of a disaster response zone, how did you find hope in the midst of such suffering and such an extreme situation where there was so much uncertainty?
And I think really like the only source of hope for us was truly through the person of Jesus and the hope of the gospel, which kind of sounds like a cheesy answer, but it really is the truth. And every day there we saw God show up in just so many different ways and so many different capacities and for so many different people. And I think that was it. Like, we would be listening to worship music in our room, lots of time spent in prayer. We would take turns sharing devos as a team. So we really, I think the team makes a point of just being fully kind of entrenched in the spirit and entrenched in the word the whole time. But it really is incredible how you can see how Jesus shows up in those moments of suffering, because he's been through it all. Like, he died on the cross, rose again for us. So it's not like we're suffering on our own for no reason. And he truly, we just saw him day after day meet people in the midst of their brokenness and their heartbreak and their suffering. So that, despite the crazy circumstance and the chaos and the heartbreak, that provided hope for me.
Yeah, and some examples of that was like we were working the night shift, and the thing that wasn't typical was that in the first 3 weeks we were there, so about 21 days, we worked night shifts the whole time. I think by the end of it, we probably felt like we had more energy than when we finished a normal set of like 4 or 5 shifts here in Canada. So I think that was just the Spirit just giving us energy. And when you're with a group of people that are from all sorts of different countries, different perspectives on things, everyone kind of had that same perspective of the Bible and the cross and being a good Samaritan and like that mission focus.
That's so incredible. So now take me to the day that you guys had word that you were able to pack up, send the last patient home. What was that like?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, because it felt, and again, that was another source of hope too. I think actually is like actually seeing some change, seeing some hope in the community. So when patients were leaving, like, it was kind of a slow process, because we would slowly, we don't need this tent anymore because we don't have enough patients, so we'll close that one down. And it was a bit of a process, but eventually the last patient was leaving. And there's a great video, actually, if people go to Samaritans Purse website, you can see the last patient, and he's doing his little dance while he's waving, and being there for that, especially because we didn't get to see a lot of that working night shift. We didn't see people leaving, was pretty special. You're kind of like, okay, look, like, things are lifting, things are improving. Like, you can see it on everyone around, even though they were still in the thick of it. They were at a point where we weren't needed anymore, and that felt pretty good. It was sad to leave because we really got kind of connected to the people there and the place and what we were doing. But all in all, it was a celebration because, hey, like, things are getting better. We can go home. We don't need to be here.
Wow. Thank you guys so much for sharing your experience today. It is incredible to hear how you made that commitment to go serve and then hearing how God moved through it. I know it must have been really difficult at times. You really exemplify what it means to live on mission, both locally and globally. And so we're just so grateful for the both of you. You're incredible leaders, and yeah, excited to see how God continues to take you and use your skill set around the world. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, Caitlin.